My name is Endeavour, and this is Almost 10 to the sky. And we're starting things at the fission reactor, which I built last time, and this thing has been running, and I've been getting a ton of polonium and plutonium out of it. And today we're going to step things up a bit and get pretty much everything else we need to do for a Mekanism done. So we mocked up where the SPS is going to go, so we're definitely going to get this built. But I also want to get the turbine built as well, and you'll see here I've been mocking up where it's going to go, and I have two of them, and that's because I've figured out the maximum rate I can run this at is 650 millibucks. To take anything more than that and we start taking damage, and we don't want that because once it gets really high it'll blow up, and we don't want that. So at 650, if we activate this, we have a burning rate of 36,000 buckets per tick. What we need to do is have a turbine that can handle that, and I couldn't figure out how to do that with one turbine, so I've done it with two, and I think they'll do 20. The design I've come up with will do 20,000 each. So I've mocked this up, so we have the structural glass at the bottom, and then we've got 4 vents at the top, and that is going to go all the way around. So we'll have the vents all the way around, and it's the vents that determine the flow rate, so basically how much steam this thing can handle. So the less we have on it, the more power it will generate, because we can have more rotors and blades in the middle, but the flow rate also determines the amount of power generated as well, so it is a bit of a balancing act. So I've just gone for 4, and then the whole top is going to be covered with vents as well. We're not going to use saturating condensers, because all they do is basically turn the steam back into water, and then we can pump that back into here. But we're not going to do that, so I'll just turn that off. Because we've got the water coming in the GT way with integrated dynamics, we don't need to do all the condensing the water back down. So we're just going to have a load of ports on the side that send the image here, because even with the really fast Mekanism cables, or tubes I should say, we can't transfer it fast enough. So we need about 5 or maybe more than that for each one to be able to transfer enough steam. So we're going to do the turbine. We're also going to do the SPS, but to do the SPS, we also need to do a HDPE setup. And because we're producing loads of power and using loads of power, we could just send it directly, but I also want to set up an induction matrix, and that means getting a lithium setup going. So as you'll see, I've also done a little bit of building. I've just been decorating the floor. We've got all these factory blocks going out there around the outside, and these are factory blocks in the middle as well, and then just a little load of sea lanterns to keep things nice and bright. So there's lots to do, but I'm not sure what I should do first. I don't think it's worth doing the power first until I've got somewhere to store it or rather use it. The HDPE is probably the best thing to do, because then I can get the SPS built, and then I can do the power. So I think the induction matrix is like an optional extra really, so I'll see how long it takes me to do everything else, and then we can maybe get that built later. So I think over here we're going to have the power, and I still haven't really figured out, apart from the turbines, I haven't figured out where I'm going to put everything else. The footprint for everything else is really not that much. We just need something 5 wide for the HDPE, we need 2 squares of 4x4, and then a little bit in the middle for the lithium production. So we can maybe do that on one on this side. So I have already crafted up the thermal evaporation blocks. So let's do the lithium first, actually. So let's just mark out this, even though this is an optional extra. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to leave a gap of 3 in the middle, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So does that look alright, or is that a bit rubbish? Yeah. So let's just try and get it centered a little bit. So would that be? So that's 4. Then we've got 3 again. So that's the 3 gap there, and a 3 gap there. So yeah, that's alright. That we could do that. So if we just do this. 2, 3, 4, that's not going to come out any further than that, and then we've got a little bit on the side so we can actually do the lithium, and then we'll have the input for the water over there. So yeah, I think that'll work for that. We also want to do the HDPE, so we've definitely got enough room for that down here, and then we can put the induction matrix over here, because I'm not going to have a massive one. Right, so let's get everything crafted up for the HDPE. Right, so I've just done a little bit of crafting, and I think I've got everything I need here. So let's just have a quick run through it. So I've got the crusher, that is going to give us the biofuel, electrolytic separator, and that's going to take water and turn it into oxygen and hydrogen. I've got the pressurized reaction chambers and a rotary condensator. So let's just quickly get this set up. So firstly, we're going to need power, aren't we? So I haven't thought about that. Let's get, I should probably have it in the floor as well. So let's go, I think it needs to be 5 wide, doesn't it? So let's go to like that. I think that'll work alright. So I'm going to do the gate from underneath as well, so it's all hidden away, and I think that for power that should actually be it. Also, actually we need it for the crusher as well, like, which I might do that a little bit different. Anyway, we'll think about the crusher in a minute, because that's the easy bit. So let's stick you on there, so those will all be powered now. Right, so let's get everything down. So we start with the electrolytic separator. That's going to go there, and the thing I always forget to do on this is changing this RAM, because we want the hydrogen, which is output 1 to go to the right. So we'll turn that to output 1, turn that one off, and output 2 is going to go to the top. That is going to go into one of the pressurized reaction chambers, and then we also need the biofuel going into there as well, which is always the ugly bit that I can never figure out how to do it nicely. So this is going to produce ethene. We're going to put the rotary condensator there. That's going to turn it into liquid ethene. That is then going to go into another pressurized reaction chamber, and then finally on the end we have an enrichment chamber, and that is what's going to produce the HDPE from... No, I've done that wrong way around, haven't I? That's the crusher. Oh, I haven't got an enrichment chamber because I used it for crafting something else, haven't I? Okay, let's get one of you. Right, so the enrichment chamber goes on the end, and that is going to take the HDPE pellets and turn it into HDPE. So I'm going to need some speed and energy upgrades for all this, but let's just get it up and running first and see how this all works. So first thing is we're going to need some water. So another ugly bit, but let's put this here because this is going to need to go into this machine and this machine. So if we put pipe down there, do I have my configurator? Of course I don't. Just have you. I'm going to set that to extract. Nope, don't do that. What are you doing? Right, so that's already kicked in, and that is producing hydrogen and oxygen. So the hydrogen is going into there. That's good, and it's got the water in as well. So what we need to do is put biofuel in there, which actually I've got a bit, so we can do that. So let's just stick that in there. We are going to automate this going in as well, and that is then going to come out in another ugly way, but the ethene goes directly into there and turns it into liquid ethene. Right, so we've got liquid ethene going to there. The other thing we need in here is oxygen, which is the other thing that's produced in this electrolytic separator. So we're going to take a ultimate pressurized tube, and this is another ugly bit, but we're going to put this on top of here and into here, and we are going to go a couple of blocks just so we can put some other things on top. Let's go like that. Actually, that might be too many, but let's go there. So that'll go into there. That's output from there. Oxygen is going in. Nice. So now we need to take the substrate that's in here, and that is going to go into there. So with this, that's going to produce the HDPE pellets, and then from there, those get sent into the right into the enrichment chamber, and 3 of these turns into 1 HDPE sheet. So that is basically the whole process, which obviously it's just not automated at the minute. So to make this even uglier, let's put this thing on the front, disconnect that one, and then make sure that this is outputting items to the front. Eject on. So those should go in there now. Yeah, they're doing the thing. And we already have our HDPE sheets. Nice. So with these, this is what we're going to use to craft the SPS casing initially, but we're also going to need it for the mech suit, and as you can see, a few other things. So to get the biofuel in there, we're going to need a crusher, and I normally do this below, but as I put this big old pipe here, what I'm going to do instead is put this on top, and then I'm also going to need to send some items into it. So that's why I've got this interface here. I think I can put it on this side, because I'm only going to use it over here, I think. Because this thing over here, we only need water to go into there, so don't need any items for that. So the crusher is going to output to the bottom, turn everything else off, and put eject on. So what I was planning on doing is just putting wheat into there. So let's just grab a stack of that, get this up and running. So obviously this definitely needs speeding up, and that can produce that. And then we'll have everything. I think that's it now. Got everything piping where it should. We just need to automate that into there, and obviously we need power on that as well, so we can just put another gate on the back of there, like that. So now if we get some upgrades, I haven't got many. Right, so these upgrades, let's get all these in then. So we'll go energy in all of them first, then speed, and then definitely muffling upgrades in all these as well. There we go, much better. I don't think I need chemical upgrades for any of them, but let's just give it a go. No, that's alright. So that's doing its thing now, and that should be going pretty fast. Just need to get the wheat sent into there, don't we? So let's auto stock the interface with wheat, like that. And then we just need to pipe that into the crusher. So I could use a modular router like I did over here, and in fact I might actually do that because it's going to be a bit ugly otherwise, isn't it? Ah no, let's just do it. It doesn't need to be pretty, this. So let's go over here like this, disconnect those, and set that to extract, and this is input on top of that. There we go, that should be going in now. Yeah, that's doing its thing, and there we go. HDPE is coming in. So yeah, obviously we just need to output this back into here. So output to the right, eject on, and that's it. HDPE fully automated. So as long as we don't run out of wheat, which we shouldn't do, we've got the water input, wheat automatically putting in, and the HDPE going back. So if we just have a look in the system now, that's the HDPE done. Right, so I think the next job should be to build the SPS. So I was going to do these next, but as I said, that's optional. So let's see how many of these SPS casings we can actually do. So I've got some of the HDPE coming in, so let's just grab a few. I'm not sure how many I need. I think it's 40 or 60 or something. It'll probably say actually what. Let's have a look at the quest. Let's not ignore the quests. So Mekanism, is it in there? Yeah, so for the SPS we need, yeah, it's 60. So still not there. But we've definitely got enough polonium and plutonium, so let's just grab what we can. So 32, that's a little bit. So all we need to do, all these blocks that I mocked out with, we just need to replace these. Actually, just get rid of all this. I know what I'm doing. That was just so I could see where it was going to go. I will just build it all the way around this that I've done here. Like that. And then it's easier if you then use the structural glass. So the inside bit, and then just build around that. Structural glass, I can do loads of it. That's not loads because I'm going to use it all in the turbines as well. So let's go up 5. Right, so it's 5 there, and then the middle 3, let's do it like that. So you've got like a big fat cross, and then that's basically what I've got on the floor. So we just need to surround that as well. Do that on both sides, just like that. So that is basically how we do it on each side. So the next one will go off here. And we'll do that on each side. So without getting all the HDPE, which let's see where we are. Actually, I could do a bit more. I've got there 17, so still not quite there, but very close. So I'll just wait for this HDPE to come in, and I'll get all this built up, and then we can have a look at how we set it up and actually use it. Right, so that is all built up now. We've got all the SPS casings on there, and if we right click on this, it has formed. So we've definitely done it right. Now, it's obviously not going to do anything at the minute because we don't have any of the ports in, and we don't have the supercharged coil in there as well. So that is what we need to craft now. Laser first. And I am just going to do one of them, but the quest does say 2, so maybe we'll get a reward for that. So let's do this. Let's get 2 of these. I'll say I'm only going to use 1 for my setup. And then we also need the SPS ports. So I'm going to need to do some more SPS casings. I did go 1 over on these, but it's alright because I need some more for the ports. So let's just get 3 of those. And then I can do a port from that. But I do actually need 2 ports. So let's get another 4 of those. And then another port. Right, so what we need these for is, one is to get the polonium in. Actually, no, we need another one, are we? I'm just thinking, right, yeah, so we need 1 for the power, 1 for the polonium to go in, and then we're also going to need 1 for the antimatter to come out as well. So let's just figure out how we're going to do this. So I think the polonium coming in on this side makes sense, doesn't it? Because that's where we're producing it. I think power on this side, even though it doesn't matter for the power, because that's not right, I need that in the middle. I need to go in the middle of whichever square we're doing. And then we're going to output the antimatter over here. Actually, I could do this on the same side. So let's do the antimatter coming out this way as well. Like that. I don't think you need to configure these, do you? Oh, yeah, you do. Output. Did I not craft the third one? I think I'm losing my mind. Let's get another 4 of those. I could have sworn I did this, but... Right, and then with the third port, we're going to put that on there. And then for this, we need to get inside as well, because we need to put the supercharged coil on there. So now, that should be it. So we just need to provide this thing with an absolute ton of power, wire up the polonium to go into there, and then we can output the antimatter here, put that into a chemical crystallizer, and it'll turn it into the antimatter pellets. So that is it. But the problem we have now is we don't have anywhere near enough power. So that's what these things are for. I could do the lithium first, actually, because we are going to need to get a little bit of lithium so we can do the induction matrix, but I really want to get the power up and running, and then we can wirelessly send it into here directly if we need to, and then if we have time, we can do the induction matrix as well to store a little bit of the power. So let's have a look at the turbine setup. So we've mocked it up here with this, so I basically just need to fill all this in. But let's do the interesting bit in the middle first, where is the middle? Yeah, oh, I've already marked it out. I think you can use the extra glass on the bottom as well, so I'm going to leave that there. So the things that we need to craft, let's just have it, is these things. So the turbine rotors, and we need 12 of those for each one. So let's do all of them now. So I'll do 24 of these, and for each of these we need to craft 2 blades. So I've got 24, so we need 48 of these. Each of the turbines we need a rotational complex. I don't have any of them crafted, no way. Alright, so we need 2 of those. And then for each turbine, we're going to need 7 of these. And I always do 7 because 7 is the maximum you ever need, no matter what your turbine setup is. So I'm just going to do 7 for each one. If I've got enough of these. Yes, there we go. And is that, we're going to need an absolute ton of vents, but I have not. I'm just going to craft a few hundred once when I get going, and then just see what happens. Then we need a ton of the structural glass as well. So we'll just get one of these in together. So I just need 12 of these going up this way. So do that. I need to put a rotational complex on the top, and then electromagnetic coils. One of them needs to touch this, and then the rest of them need to touch each other. So we'll just go across like this. Oh, I'm gonna need the pressure dispersers, will I? So yeah, so that's 7 on there, and I also need to fill in this whole layer where the rotational complex is with pressure dispersers. These things here. So what are they? Yeah, so it's a lot of steel, a lot of iron bars. I haven't got any iron bars, so I may need to do a pattern for this. And as this is a max size reactor, that's 17 by 17, so we're going to need 288 pressure dispersers for each one. So yeah, I'm definitely going to do a pattern for that, get all that filled in. But the rest of it, pretty boring really. Just vents at this level, structural glass at this level, and then vents on the top, pressure dispersers inside, and then we should be good to go. And obviously not forgetting to put the turbine blades in as well, and we can just right click on the bottom one and that'll fill all those in. If I've done that right, we should have 24 left. Yeah, there we go. That's looking pretty cool. So yeah, I'll just get everything else filled in. I'll just do the one for now, and then we can see how that looks. Right, so we've got this first one built up now. We've got all the pressure dispersers in there, and I did say it wrong, the calculation. It's not 17 by 17 because that's the external dimensions. What we need in the middle is 15 by 15. So I now actually have 2 stacks spare of pressure dispersers. Yeah, so may need to get another turbine bellow just to use those. But anyway, this is now wired up as well. So the steam output from here, rather than going to the trash can, now goes straight into here. But I'm going to show you what happens here because it's not enough. So if we activate that, that is filling up, and this is running at nowhere near the rate that it could be. So it's only getting 3,000 millibuckets per tick. That's because these tubes can't transfer any more than that. So what we're going to do is turn this off, and that steam will actually go in there and produce power. So you can see the power is filling up as well. So what I want to do is actually start using the power, because I think we're in a position where we can do that. So I've got some flux plugs here. So I'm going to put this onto there, and then we're going to set up a new network for this and call it, let's do a different color, and we'll just call it turbine, and then make sure this one is on that network. And then with the flux points, we can actually put this straight onto the SPS behind the coil, like that. And this is on the wrong network, so we don't want it to be draining power from there. So let's make sure it's on the turbine one, and that'll be on take power from there. So I usually just like to max this out so it can just do loads, because it does use basically unlimited power, this thing. And there are better ways of generating power. We could use the fusion reactor from Mekanism, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to just wait around for this thing. So what we need to do now is get the polonium in there. As you can see, it's already there. So what I've done is change the output on this one so it doesn't output to the front, and it's going to output to the back. And I've got a tube going underground up to here. So I just need to put that on there, and that is now kicking in. So you can see that has just produced 56 millibuckets of antimatter. So we need to get that up to 1,000, and then with 1,000 we can turn that into 1 antimatter pellet. But I'm nowhere near at that stage yet. But if we just turn this on and see how slowly this actually happens, actually it's not too bad, is it? But the steam is backing up in here. So let's fix that problem, or alleviate that problem I should say. So what we're going to do is basically just copy what we've got here. So I've got a ton of these, and I've got a ton of these. So I'm just going to put them into here. So I'm going to do 5 on each side, just for now. I think we might actually need more than that. So we'll go 3. And then 5 there. And then I'm also going to do the same on this. So just break you. And then we need to set this to export coolant, or output coolant. 2 more there. Output coolant. and then we can basically just wire this up like that. Now there may be a better way of doing this, but I don't know it. So I'm just going to do it like this, and we'll see what happens. So if we activate this now, the steam is still building up, but if we have a look at the flow rate, that is now 15. So that is much better, isn't it? So if I can get a couple more on there, I can max this out to 20. So that's what I want. But as this one's just 36, I think putting another one on there, that'll do 18, and then we can have 18 in each of these two turbines. So as you can see, I've almost built up this one. I haven't got these sides on yet, because putting these in is really annoying, because the stick doesn't work with it. I have to use the building gadget. So we'll get this one done, but I'll just show you what I've done at the top. So the pressure disperser, and it's exactly the same. We just need to get the rest of these vents in, and the vents are already in on the side, apart from this one, and then just the structural glass down here, and then we'll have both of them up and running. So what I'm going to do at this side is exactly the same thing. So I'm going to put 5 across there, and maybe another one. Should actually put this in at the top. So I'll see if this works alright. So let's go there like that. And then just another one there. You go there. And I set that one there. And now if we put this in and activate this again, and that is now doing 18. So that's great. So that should be enough, I think. 36 point, yeah. So that 2 of these running at this rate with 6 valves on the side is going to be enough. So I'll get the other one in, and then we can hopefully start producing this antimatter. So what are we at? 133. So we're definitely getting there, but we need to do 18 of these antimatter just for the stars. But then I also want to do some for some other crafting as well. So yeah, this is going to take a while, but I'll get this one in, and then we can give it a proper test. Right, so I've got both those running now, and as you can see, the steam is not backing up, and both of these are running at just over 18,000 buckets per tick. So that is great. So now if we have a look in here, we are almost at a full bucket of antimatter. So I'm going to put my, where is it, chemical crystallizer on the side of here, and the antimatter should go straight into there. And once this gets up to 1,000, it will start producing an antimatter pellet. So I just need to power this as well. So stick you on there, and I'm going to need some upgrades for this as well. Not that it'll be that busy, but let's just max it out anyway. So I've just got speed upgrades there, haven't I? Have I missed any? Oh no, it's doing it. That's good. So let's just wait for this first one to be done. And there we go. Our first antimatter pellet. Well, we have already got one, but that was from a quest, so that's our first produced one. I think 2 of them is a quest. Or not. Alright, so I'll stick you in there and you. So I'll go a little bit faster next time, but I'll see a bit of a wait. So we're at 66. So it's just a question really of whether the fissile fuel can keep up, because everything else is alright. So yeah, I think that's going to be alright. So while we're waiting for that to do its thing, the polonium is coming in, the antimatter is being produced. So yes, it's going to take a while, but we might as well get on with the lithium. Because I did just have a problem where the power backed up, but that was only because we were producing polonium, so the power had nowhere to go to do this. So I think I am going to do the induction matrix at some point, but not just yet. I just want to get the lithium going so we can do the things we need for the mecha suit. I have everything on me, I think. So we've got 6 valves, which may sound a little bit over the top, but we've also got our subcontrollers. So we're not going to do the solar panels on top like we normally do, and we're not going to go like crazy high as well. You can do these 18 high, and I have done that a few times, but I just end up with so much lithium, it's just not necessary. So let's put, that's not what I wanted, let's put control there, and a valve there, and then we'll do it the other way around on this side. So valve there, and control there, and then we're just going to put 2 valves on each side, and you can see that one's formed, and now so is this one. So this is the one I'm going to use for brine, and then this one is going to produce the lithium. So we've got a sink, so let's stick that there. We don't need to do anything fancy. This doesn't need to go real crazy speeds. So we'll put the pipe on there, and we set that to pull, and that will not do anything yet because there's no solar panels, so it's not doing anything. So what we're going to do instead of that is put resistive heaters on the side. So we'll go like that on these 2 valves, and if we put a universal cable in between like that, that's going to power these, and then we're going to put that on there for power. And now they're normally set to 40 FE per tick, but as we've got like infinite power basically, we can just do this to 1,000, and this will start heating this up. like that. And I do need to make sure I sleep at night, otherwise my turbine's going to back up. Yeah, there we go. We're now producing brine, and that has backed up. So what we can do with that is just pump this straight across into the other one. And if I just set this to pull, that will go into here, and we start producing liquid lithium. So we just need to take a rotary condensator, and should we be neat about this, or yeah, why not? Let's do it properly. So let's put that there, put a pipe on the top, and with the configurator, set this to pull, need to switch that the other way, so that is going to start making lithium from the liquid lithium. And we need power as well, don't we? So let's just put that in there to make the power even worse. Stick it on there, and then we again need a chemical crystallizer, just like we're using for the antimatter. We'll put that there, and then if we speed this up, we're going to need a gate on there as well. But that is going to start producing the lithium dust. It's as easy as that. So with these, we'll take them and make them into the induction cells and the induction providers, and with the then you can then craft it into the next levels, and these are used in a lot of crafting later on. So we'll just let that build up, because they do get quite expensive for the higher tier, because you need 4 of the previous tier. So I think you need a stack of the lowest tier to get 1 of the top tier. So yeah, it can get a bit crazy. What are you doing? That's full on polonium, but we have no power. Oh no, I've turned it off. Oh, that's why. So that polonium was backed up because it was nighttime. So yeah, there we go. So we've got anything else? 427. So yeah, now basically it's just a waiting game. I've got everything up and running. We've got the HDPE coming in, so we can use that for some crafting. We've got the lithium coming in, and I can actually pipe that straight into there. So I will figure out a nice neat way of doing that. But I think for now I've got everything done that I wanted to do. We're basically done a speed run of the last bits of Mekanism. I'm happy about that. We just need to wait around for the antimatter, really. So how many have we got? We've only got 2 at the moment, and we need 2 of them for the improbable probability device, and we need 18 of these. So we need to get 36 of them to do that, but then we also need them for the mecha suit, so we need 1 for each piece of the mecha suit. And I think that is pretty much it, really. I don't think I'm going to use it for anything else. So yeah, 40 of these we need to get, and I've got 2, and just over halfway to the next one. So that's going to be fun, but I think with that, we're going to leave it there. I'm going to leave this running, and hopefully it won't blow up or run out of anything. Yeah, that's gone well. So we'll leave it there, and hopefully next time we'll come back, we will have 40 antimatter pellets, and we can use those for a bit of crafting, and then do something else and get even closer to the Automate star. So if you have enjoyed this episode, please do leave a like, and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.